Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's Mystic Minute is don't react dramatically, even if it seems dramatic. We're coming up to a full moon, and any kindergarten teacher can tell you when it's going to be a full moon because her kids are bouncing off the walls. It is a powerful time and is also an emotional time for folks. People just tend to react to the vibe of the full moon. You think about how a moon affects the tides and the waters, it vibrationally affects the earth. We're responding to it as well. It's also an eclipse, and eclipses are 3 times the power of a regular moon. So we're in this whole month has just been a huge upheaval for folks. I find it a good rule of thumb to not react dramatically, especially when it seems dramatic. Now, there's lots of things to respond to in the world. There are, tragedies that happen, there are natural disasters that happen, and they require responses. You might be in an emergency situation that requires a response. Responding comes from a different space than reacting. When you are reacting to something, you are coming to it from just a pure emotional standpoint. You're probably triggered, they're probably triggered, things are triggered, and it's not based in reality. It's not based in consciousness. If you're coming from consciousness, you'll respond to what's going on. The feeling of consciousness, besides being this wonderful, enveloping feeling of love, it's also a feeling of serenity, calmness. It's an expansive sense of everything is going to be all right. Even if you're in a plane that is going down, you know that it's going to be all right. You might want to put the mask on yourself first, put the mask on your child, brace for impact or whatever. Those are legitimate experiences to respond to. Reacting emotionally is not going to help you be clear enough to make the right choices and actions in those times. So this is not telling you never to have feelings. If your child is getting born, you're going to have an emotional response to seeing that living being pop out of your wife or pop out of you. You're going to have an emotional response to looking into your child's eyes the very first time. It's an expansive experience of love. If you're watching, a show that is hilarious, you're going to have an emotional reaction to the jokes or to the pratfalls or to the things that are going on. So there are places where it's normal to have a reaction from your body. It's normal to be in deep grief if someone you love dies. If you've lost something that's really important to you, those are emotional reactions. And for the most part, too, you don't want to drive heavy machinery when you're under an emotional stress. But we all know the difference between when it is a genuine emotional reaction, when it is a circumstance that calls for responding from greater clarity and awareness, or engaging in the drama because it's dramatic and it feels exhilarating. But it's not based in truth, and really, do you want to go to work with a black eye the next day? As consciousness operating in this individual form, as consciousness operating in your individual form, you are at choice with how you respond to things going on. And when you respond from that greater awareness, you can navigate your life with greater clarity. You can navigate it to greater satisfaction. The greater part of you can care for the smaller part of you that feels reactionary, that feels helpless, that feels, powerless over the circumstances. Because a little part of you is powerless over the circumstances. If you have a lot of people yelling at you, you feel powerless over the circumstances. The greater part of you is not powerless. And the greater part of you can take care of things. And really, who do you want driving the bus? Just something to keep in mind over the next days, over the next weeks and months, as we observe this collective shift in awareness, where it seems like all this insanity is coming to the surface. And I like to think of it as the insanity is coming to the surface to be cleared. It is coming to the surface. We're seeing the darker aspects of human behavior coming to the surface because the light is shining to expose it. It doesn't mean that it has more power over you. When you're shopping in a store and there's a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum, they're going to be so loud. They have no filters. They're going to be so loud that they're going to fill up the entire store with their noise. You can see the poor mom feeling kind of defeated by it. And it does not mean that 2-year-old is more powerful than everybody in the store, or even more powerful than the poor exhausted mom dealing with that child. And the news has really become an entertainment industry, so it's going to go towards the most emotional reaction. It does not mean that it is more powerful than you. You have the choice to turn off the news. You have the choice to focus on what you want to focus on and not feel overwhelmed with what's going on in the world today. But if you come from a background where the climate is highly charged, highly reactive, highly emotional, people triggered, PTSD, early recovery, non-recovery kind of things, it's going to be challenging to change the way that you navigate. Baby steps. Respond to the first thing that's in front of you, or not respond to the first thing that's in front of you. Have this be your little mantra or slogan. Don't react dramatically, even if it seems dramatic. Most things can take 24 hours to respond to. Think about it. Sit with it. And I know for myself that if it's a really dramatic storyline going through my head, it's probably not entirely accurate. You see crazy people doing crazy things. Don't take it personally. Respond rather than react. Take a deep breath and come from the highest aspect of yourself. And you will find navigating the next few weeks, months, rest of this year so much easier. And you will be contributing to the healing on the planet. You will be emanating the energy of serenity. You'll be able to be one of the ones being calm and grounded. The world needs more calm people in it. So play with this. Navigate with this idea for the next week or so. The more you change your reactions, the more it's going to completely transform your life. And if you like these videos, you can subscribe to them on YouTube. You can also sign up below to get them in your inbox. If you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I have a weekly blog and newsletter. I have a weekly radio show and podcast. I post these videos on my website as well. I have a monthly webinar, and I also have a program called 12 Weeks to Transformation. It's a private mentorship program where you can work one-on-one with me to learn these consciousness techniques and navigate your life with conscious mastery. If you want to know more, you can go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you in another couple days with another Mystic Minute.